seed collection perfection. Hi, I'm Ian Roofe and welcome to Get Gardening, and today we're going to be looking at seed collection, and these are plants which East Ruston is famous for. These are Dieramas, also known as the angel's fishing rod, and we have copious numbers of them here in the Mediterranean garden, where they love the fact the soil is slightly moisture retentive during the summer but free draining in the winter, and they get basked and they bake in this glorious sun that we get in here on this south facing slope. So we're going to collect some of these seeds, we're going to take them back to the greenhouse, and I'm going to show you how to prepare them and get them ready for sowing, so we have lots and lots of wonderful new plants ready for next year. Another lovely plant we grow here at East Ruston is the Eryngium family, and this is quite a statuesque one with really good foliage and excellent flowers on it, and I'm pretty sure it's Eryngium agavifolium, and you can see how it gets its name, where it's got these wonderful leaves with the teeth up the side, which very much as agaves would naturally have. Now it's a plant I want to propagate because it's so good here, particularly in this soil which is very, very free draining, has a very long tap root, gets its root down deep where it can get to moisture and where it's cooler, and it flourishes, as you can see. So we've got some wonderful seed heads here, just about ready to be taken. They've gone brown and dry and a bit crisp. So we're going to take this whole stem off quite low down. Come around here and have a look. Quite low down. And we're going to take this back and collect some seed out of it for sowing, so we get a lovely crop of young seedlings ready for next spring. In a previous video we looked at how to get the best from your dahlias in the border, and we looked at this wonderful group here, which is actually a batch of, we call them East Ruston seedlings because they were from Bishop of Llandaff, and of course it was sitting in the beds with all the other dahlias, and the bees were busy doing their business, going about from flower to flower. And of course it's amazing what sort of combinations you get. It's amazing how the genetics within the plant are mixed up, and of course Alan sowed all the seed from the bishop's flowers, and this is what we've got, a wonderful collection of interesting pinks and reds and violets and mauves and even yellows in there. So it really shows you it's very much worthwhile sowing some seed just to see what colour combinations you get. But I want to try it again, I want to get some more, and many of you will be growing dahlias at home in your borders because, as we said, they are just such good border plants, and now is the time to be thinking about taking seed off them. And you'll see I've got this one here just now starting to open up, like a beautiful antiqued water lily there, now opening up, and you'll see all the seed in there ready to go. But if you haven't got flowers like this, if you have a look in here, here we are, you can see some other ones here that are now drying and ready to go. So that's what you want to be looking for, where the actual flower is finished and it's taken on that pointed, that triangular look, and then from that point there it will start to dry out and it will get a bit like this, where it will start to open very slightly, and then a bit later on, as the autumn approaches even more, it opens up like so, and it's got all that wonderful seed in. And remember, you can do this for any dahlia you've got at home. It really doesn't matter because the bees will be doing wonderful transference of pollen and you'll get some interesting combinations. So we've brought our seeds back to the greenhouse, back to the potting bench here, ready to prepare them, to take them out of their receptacles, out of their holders as it were, to get them ready for sowing. So if these seeds weren't quite ripe enough, you can pick seeds a little bit earlier off the plant. If you think it's going to be too wet, or you're going away, or the weather's going to turn nasty, you can pick your seeds early, you can put them in a brown paper bag and just hang them up in your potting shed or a greenhouse, somewhere they can get the warmth, and it's the warmth that will help that seed mature, and it will help it be ready to fall out of these capsules, these receptacles, whatever name you want to use, into that brown bag, and they'll be nice and safe, ready for you to sow a bit later in the season. The ones that I've collected are actually ready, and they're at a perfect point, ready for prepping and for sowing. So I'm going to start off with the angel's fishing rod here, the Dierama, and you can see how it gets its name, the angel's fishing rod, the way that those wonderful flowers, which are pink, they're almost sort of trumpet-like in their appearance. They just sort of drip in all these little clusters from these stems, and it always amazes me how strong these stems are, because they look so weak, but actually the weight of all those flowers is quite immense. So they just have such grace, and if you get a breeze in the garden, they have such wonderful movement to them, so they're a very lovely plant. But they have got lots and lots of capsules full of seed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of these individual flowers off, spent flowers really, and just drop them into this tray. There we are. And it's amazing how many you will get. And we propagate a lot of these here ourselves. Some we do actually in the garden. Others we send all the seed away to a local nursery and they do them for us, because we haven't got as much space as we need. But we'll always do some here to keep our hand in and make sure that we get our own plants. And they're called East Ruston Specials because they've been crossbred and cross-hybridised by the bees yet again. So we can't be totally sure what they are, but they are from good stock, I can guarantee you that. So as you'll see here, I'll put it up on the ledge here, make it easier for you guys to see. We've got these capsules and they're just now starting to split. Some of the seed in them is still a little bit green, but that won't matter, because what I tend to do is I tend to just rub the seed out. Let's do that one there. Some of them might need a little bit of pushing. There we are. Just keep crushing it, you see, and those seeds will pop out there. And each little capsule probably has 10 or 15 seeds in, so we're actually getting quite a lot here. Now what I might do with these ones, rather than sow them straight away, which I might well do later in the season, is I'm going to open a lot of these capsules up and I'm going to leave them in this little tray, just on the bench, just for a few days, just to get the sun to them. But the important thing is with things like Dierama in particular, is because they are a hardy perennial, they will need a period of stratification. And that means that we will prepare this seed, we will sow it into a tray of seed and cutting compost, I will cover them in grit, then I'll put them somewhere relatively cool. In fact, I'll probably leave them outside for most of the winter. And it's the process by which the seed has cold to it, the stratification, which makes it germinate really well next spring. Then I'll bring them into the greenhouse, I'll give them some warmth, and because they've had that cold and they've had some warmth, it will mean that germination is pretty good, I should say. It will germinate really quite quickly, and that will give us plants which we can then pot on and grow on for next season. So it's a very easy process to do. Just keep working away with them, just keep breaking them up. And you can see all these seeds here. I'm not going to do them all, but you can see just from those few pods, look how many we've got. Okay, lots of little seeds in there. Now, what we'll do with these is two options. We can either sow them into a seed tray, just scatter sow them, or what we tend to do here is we tend to sow them in little clusters, in individual cells. Because if you just had one Dierama plant, just one set of leaves, it wouldn't make a very good plant very quickly. So when you buy dioramas from garden centres and nurseries, they're always cluster sown. They're always 3 or 4 plants together to bulk up really quickly. So we'll leave these for the moment, but very easy to do, and we will sow these probably in a couple of weeks' time once they come back from the holidays. Crack on with that. The next plant we've got here is the Eryngium agavifolium here, and you can see all the seeds. Look, you can see all the black seeds within its receptacle here, within its spike, and that was obviously a lovely bright green flower earlier in the season. But very, very easy, because all we do with this is we simply tap it into our saucer, and you can see the seeds falling out. You see, look at that. I'll get some more. Take some more off this stem. And then again, you see, can you see them all coming out? Look at that, look. Lots and lots of seeds. Now, of course, when I do these, I don't take them all off the plant, because actually the old seed heads that you get on Eryngium agavifolium are beautiful, and all the Eryngiums and lots of herbaceous plants give you really good interest through the winter months. So I don't tend to take them all off, but just a few. And the same process applies. I will leave these on the bench for probably a few days, maybe even a few weeks. They'll be absolutely fine with a label in them. Then we'll sow these into a tray. We'll broadcast them, scatter sow them so they're evenly spread. Seed and cutting compost, grit over the top, and outside again. And that process of cold will ensure they germinate really well next spring. So that's those done. And the final one we've got here are the dahlias. And you can see all those wonderful seeds in there. So simply with the dahlias, I'm going to just break that whole flower up. I've got some more up here. Here we are. Do that again. You can see the way it just falls apart. Look at that. How lovely. Okay. Now with this, we have got the seeds still attached to their little scales. Can you see that there? Yeah, still attached to their little scales. So if we leave these on the bench for a day or two, and then we can come back and we can do a bit of winnowing. We can do a bit of either lifting these up in the breeze, giving a little shake, and then the actual husks will blow away. Or we could even put these through a garden riddle, a fine garden riddle, which will allow the seed to fall through and the husk will remain in. Or we might find that we can just, sow all these husks in if you want to with the seed, and they'll just rot off and the seeds will germinate. But winnowing is something that's been done for many, many years with seed, and it's getting the husks out of the way, all the actual seed capsules, and leaving just the good seed behind. With these dahlias, it will be slightly different. I will keep these in a frost-free, dry place. If people still use film, in a film canister used to be the use for a camera would have been the best thing. If not, brown paper bags, envelopes, and I'll seal them in probably a plastic container, put them in the fridge, and just leave them there over the winter months. Then I will sow these dahlias next spring. February, March time, ideally with a heated propagator. And dahlias, because they're from Mexico, they want that heat, they want that warmth, and they won't need that period of cold through the winter as many other plants do. But just by putting them in the fridge, it keeps them cool, it keeps them dry, it prevents any chance of them actually rotting, because some seeds can sort of sweat over time and they can rot. And by putting them in envelopes or paper bags, we also alleviate that problem. Don't use plastic, because you will find that it will make the seeds sweat even more and they have any good chance of rotting. Apart from that, that is our seed harvested, and we'll sow these at a later date. We'll show you that process and we'll follow it through, hopefully through till next year, and we'll show you what comes up and how the plants move on and become great flowering plants for your garden at home. Sort of get the idea, didn't you, about a fishing rod, because it is quite, you can sort of hold the end and it's sort of like, cast out and out. Right.
You're right there.
Yep.